What's up guys, my name is Brandon and welcome to the first episode of the best iOS 11 jailbreak tweaks series. This is a series where I'll be showing you guys the best jailbreak tweaks and applications available in Cydia on your iOS 11 device. So if you guys have been around on my channel for a while, you guys know that the first season of this series went extremely well, so it's only right to bring it back for season 2 with the iOS 11 Electra jailbreak. Alright, so as always, I will have a list of all the tweaks, the repos, my full setup, my theme, everything like that will be down in the description below, so make sure you check that out if you're interested in any of these tweaks. And also, if you find yourself installing any of these tweaks I mentioned in this video, I'd really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. And of course, also make sure to subscribe so you get notified when a new episode does get released. Alright, so let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get started. The first tweak is called Barmoji, and as you can see down there, we have a bar of emojis at the bottom of the iPhone 10 screen. So if you have an iPhone 10 and you have that space down there, you are going to want Barmoji. This is a great way to easily access your most used emojis. And you can also scroll on the bar to see more emojis, and then of course you can click on the emoji icon to get to all the emojis. So once again, Barmoji is a must-have tweak for you iPhone 10 users. It adds the emojis to the bottom bar down there for easy access. The next tweak is one of my favorites for Safari, and it's called FlatSafariURL. This is a very simple tweak, but very effective. So take a look at the address bar right now. Does that look any different to you? Because it definitely does to me. You can see it has that really nice, just flat look, that really clean, flat look to it. And that's exactly what this tweak does. It just makes Safari look a lot more sleek in my opinion. And speaking of Safari, the next tweak is called Safari Plus, and this gives you a ton of enhancements to the Safari application. So you can see the first one when I go to the tabs right here, we have the desktop button right there. That is new. And then you can see if I reload this page, you can see that top bar, the loading bar is red. You can customize that to any color, and you can just do a ton with this tweak. Let me just show you the settings. So if we go to the settings here in Safari Plus, you can see there are a ton of options. So if we go to general, you can force HTTPS. I like doing this because I want to make sure that I am on the most secured version of a website. You can also set exceptions in there if you want to. Open a new tab option. You have upload any file. It says adds an option to the document upload menu that lets you pick any file from the root of your device. And then you have the desktop mode switch, which I showed right there. You also have focus URL bar on long press. And then if we go back, you can see that the download add-ons, we can have enhanced downloads right there, video downloading, instant download, things like that. So if you are interested in downloading things from Safari, this is a great tweak to use. The action add-ons are really cool. I haven't really messed with these too much because I don't really have a use for them, but you can see you can have the browsing mode on app start, and you can have it to normal or private browsing. You just have a ton of options down here as well, like auto close tabs and things like that. And then gesture add-ons are really cool. I have mine set to a swipe left gesture to open up a new tab, so it's very easy for me to open up a new tab in Safari. And then we have other add-ons right here like full screen scrolling, disable private browsing, and things like that. And then the color settings is where you can go ahead and edit the app tint, the top bar, the URL font, the progress bar, the tab title, all these things you can customize for a completely new look in Safari, a really enhanced version of Safari. So really cool. Safari Plus, definitely a must-have tweak if you use Safari a lot, which most of you guys probably do. The next tweak is called MessageTypingIndicators, and this just simply hides the typing indication when you're typing a message to somebody. So you guys know in iMessage, you can see when somebody's typing. When you're texting somebody, you can see when they're typing. Well, with this tweak, that person that you're texting will not see that you're ever typing. So I can start typing in here, and my other phone will not get any notification that I'm typing at all. And if we go into our settings, you need to go to the messages right there, and then typing indicator, you can see you have a kill switch for it to be on or off. So this is something that a lot of people think that Apple should have by default, you know, in just regular iOS, but with this tweak, it brings it there, and you can disable the typing indicator if you want to. This is a great tweak if you find yourself always in a message, you know, typing, and then you can't really think about what you want to type next. So you start typing and then you erase it. This is a great tweak so that they don't ever know that you were typing in the first place. The next tweak is called Intelix, and this is a tweak I've been waiting to use for a while, and now I finally have my hands on it. So what this tweak does is that it combines all of your notifications right there, you can see, for a really clean look. It basically just groups your notifications together for a really clean look. So you can see I have a lot right there from Nest, and instead of taking up a new bubble for every single one, you can see that I have, you know, 18, 19, 20, 21 of them, but it shows in that really nice fashion right there. And then I have the option to show 18 more if I want to. So I don't need to explain it. You can just see how much cleaner this actually looks than default iOS notifications. So of course it does do this on the lock screen and also in Notification Center. The next tweak is one that I mentioned in my Essential Tweaks video, but I needed to include it in here because it's just one of my favorite tweaks of all time, and that's BioProtect 10. With this tweak, you're able to protect any application and kill switch on your device with Face ID or Touch ID. So for instance, if I didn't want anybody getting into my messages, my camera, or my Snapchat application, I can set that in the settings so that way when somebody tries to open the application, you'll need Face ID or Touch ID to unlock it and get into that application. So I have one set for Snapchat, so take a look at what it does when I try to open up Snapchat. You can see that it scans for my face, and then it opens it up once it recognizes my face with Face ID. And then I have these settings set so that you don't have to do it every time. So I click it again, you can see it goes right in because I didn't lock my device. But if if I were to lock my device and then unlock it again, I would have to re-enter my Face ID or Touch ID for that application. But that is a setting you could turn off. So let's go ahead and take a look at those settings. So you can see we have all these settings right here, and remember unlock session is the setting that I was just talking about. So if we go down here to applications, you can see that you can protect any application you want. We have folders, settings panes, control center items. So for instance, settings pane, so airplane mode, you can do that for the toggles and the kill switches as well for control center, and then also in settings. So if you didn't want anybody entering your phone into airplane mode, you can have that protected by Face ID or Touch ID. And you can see we have power off protection right here as well. So if you didn't want somebody turning off your device without having Touch ID or Face ID, you could set that up right there. Same with respring protection. And then icon arrangement protection is one of my favorites, because sometimes when my phone's in my pocket, sometimes it'll start moving my applications and maybe even delete an application. So I like that that's a setting there. And then you can see we have an experimental feature right here for photo library force protection. And this blocks access to photos from any non-protected application. And you can see we have all these other settings right here, which are really, really in-depth, really advanced settings, just for a great tweak. There's so many settings in here to set. You can just really protect pretty much everything on your device. So again, that's BioProtect 10, a must-have tweak worth every penny. The next one's called BatteryPercent 10, and this simply shows the battery percentage on the iPhone 10 up in the status bar without having to pull down on the control center. So you can see up there, it says 54% instead of just having the battery icon, and then usually you have to swipe down from the control to the control center to see the percent that your battery's at. So with this, it shows it right there at all times in the status bar, which is really nice. So if you go into the settings right here, you can see that we have the kill switch right there. We have the percentage. So if you wanted to show or not show the percentage sign, you can do that. And then you have the tap and hold to respring, which actually does come in handy. And then you can have the charging and low power mode colors show right there as well. So if you wanted the battery to turn red when it's dying or green when it's charging, you can have that set right there. You can also set a custom color if you'd like. So definitely a great tweak for you iPhone 10 users out there. So one thing you may have noticed about my settings application is that I don't have the big bold letters right there that say settings. And if we go into my messages, you can see that messages also doesn't have that big bold text right there. If we go into music, you can see that music doesn't have that big bold text right there. And that's thanks to this next tweak, NoLarge Titles. So all this tweak does is simply removes the big bold text from all your applications. So it's just a very simple tweak, because obviously a lot of people hated that big, those big bold letters in every application when iOS 11 came out. So this reverts it back so it looks a lot more clean and just doesn't really scream at you like it does in default iOS 11. The next tweak is called Togglesafe, and this is just a very simple tweak that puts you in safe mode very easily. So all you have to do is turn the vibrate switch on and off 3 times rapidly, and it puts you in safe mode immediately. So I always love having a tweak like this that can put you into safe mode just for troubleshooting purposes. So Togglesafe is a great tweak that I'm loving right now, especially since a lot of tweaks aren't compatible yet, and I'm just experimenting with a lot of tweaks running together. Next up is SwipeForMore, and this allows you to manage packages in Cydia with simple swipe gestures. So you can see if you swipe from right to left, you get these options right here to queue, to download, and then if you have updates available, you can see that you can queue the update, you can cancel the queue, you can update the queue right then, or you can also cancel it. So this is extremely convenient, because instead of going into each tweak, let me just show you. So if you go to install, continue queuing, go back, go to the next one, modify, install, continue queuing, go back, you can see how long that would take. But with this, if we just swipe over, queue, done, swipe over, queue, done. It's just a lot quicker and saves you a ton of time in Cydia. So I definitely recommend SwipeForMore, because it just makes your experience in Cydia so much better. And speaking of making your experience better, the next tweak, DismissProgress, also makes your experience a lot better in Cydia. So let's go ahead and cancel all these using the last tweak we talked about, which makes it very simple, and then go to upgrade something like Togglesafe right here. So let's go ahead and do that, and it's going to ask us to respring our device. So normally when you install a tweak and it has to respring, you don't have any option but to respring or just close out of the application. But with DismissProgress, you'll now get a close option in the top right corner. So you can see right there, it finished installing this tweak, and now we have restart springboard at the bottom, but now we have a close button up in the top right, so we don't have to respring right away. So let's go and tap that, and you can see it takes us right back to Cydia. So DismissProgress is a great tweak, because you don't always want to respring after every single tweak, especially if you're just installing one thing, then you want to go back and browse some more. You want to be able to do that by yourself. You don't want to have to respring every time you install something in Cydia. And yet another tweak to enhance your experience inside of Cydia is called Flame, and this is one that just adds a lot of extra features to Cydia to make your experience, again, just that much better. So for instance, if I swipe down on changes, you can see that that will refresh instead of, having to go up here and press refresh. Makes it a lot easy like you do in Safari. And then for instance, in sources, if we go to edit, add, you have normal mode and batch mode. So if you wanted to add multiple sources at once, you could do that because of Flame. So let's go ahead and take a look at these settings here for Flame. So if we go to options, you can see we have the default page. So I have mine set to changes. You can set the default page so that whenever you open up Cydia, it goes to whatever page you have selected. We also have the pull to refresh, which I showed you, disable auto refresh. So if you're getting errors or something like that, you could do a disable auto refresh. You have these settings for sources, and then you can also share and export packages like that. You can also customize the whole UI of Cydia if you want to. And you can see I removed the ads from the home page. You know, we have a cancel button on search, we have swipe to dismiss, things like that. So a lot of cool features in here that will definitely enhance your your experience inside of Cydia. As the tweak says, it makes Cydia yours. Next up is shy page dots, and this just gives you conditional page dots on your home screen. So for instance, you can see down there I don't have any page dots right now, but when I switch pages, you can see that they show up, and then when I stop, it goes away. So they kind of just fade out and fade in when you need them. So they are conditional. Really, really cool tweak. I originally had no page dot 7, which just removed the dots completely, but I found this to be a lot more, a lot better on the eyes, because you like to know sometimes how many pages you have and what page you're on, but it goes away. If you want to take a screenshot, if you just want that clean look, it still goes away, so you have that clean look on your device. Let me just go ahead and put this music app back in the dock. That goes away sometimes when I go into safe mode. Much better. So anyways, the next tweak is called TapTapFlip, and all this does is simply gives you the tap option to flip the camera like you have in Snapchat into the default camera application. So as you can see, we are in the camera application. If we just double tap on the screen, you can see it turns around and you see me right there, double tap again, and it goes back to the back camera. So this tweak just gives you the Snapchat feature to flip cameras by just double tapping on the screen, which is much better in my opinion, because I find myself doing that all the time with the default camera application, thinking I'm in Snapchat or just thinking that's how it works. I don't know why I do it all the time, but with this tweak, I can do it and it'll actually work. Next up is MusicBar, and this adds a really clean looking music bar below the dock when you simply press the volume up key. So you can see right there, it shows up, it'll show the album artwork right there. You can go to the next song, you can play, pause. Unfortunately, you can't switch pages or anything like that on the springboard, which is unfortunate. You also can't turn the volume up when you are, on the home screen, that shows up. But if you press it again, it goes away. It just simply goes away very quickly. You can see right there, it's pretty fluid, no bugs or anything like that I've noticed. Obviously, one of the downsides is that you can't turn the volume up using the volume rocker, but of course you have the music slider right there, so you could do that. Sometimes you kind of just go into the next app though if you are on an iPhone 10, so that can be pretty annoying, but it looks really, really clean. I feel like this would work better on devices that aren't the iPhone 10, but it still looks really, really good on the iPhone 10. Next up is another one of my all-time favorite tweaks that I use every single day on my jailbroken device, which is my daily driver. And this one is called DoubleCut. And all this does is it simply gives you the ability to spit out a full line of text, like a custom line of text, by simply double tapping on one key on the keyboard. So for instance, if I go to the @ and I double tap on the @ you can see it will enter in my full email by simply pressing the @ twice. And say we want to enter our password really quickly, if I just double tap on P, you can see that it enters in that custom string of text right there, which would be my password. So again, this is great for emails or passwords or just anything you may have to enter multiple times. If you want to easily get that string of text, you can do that with DoubleCut. So inside the settings right here, you can see I have mine set to @double and @double my passwords. Let's go ahead and add a new snippet. All right, so let's make the snippet key Q. And let's have, when we double tap on Q, say just this random text right here. And then you can have double tap, triple tap, or long press. I'll just keep it at double tap because that's my favorite. So basically when I double tap on Q, it's gonna spit out this custom text right here, which again, you can change to anything you want. You can add an emoji in there, click save. Let's go back to our notes. Double tap on Q, and you can see it enters that string of text that I just put in settings. So again, just a super, super useful tweak that I use all the time on my device. And speaking of great keyboard tweaks, the next tweak is called SlideCut, and this gives you keyboard shortcuts on the iPhone. So if you're on the computer a lot and you use a lot of keyboard shortcuts like I do, like Control A, Control C, Control V, you're now gonna be able to do that on iOS. So all you do is simply drag from the spacebar up to A, C, or V, or whatever you wanna do. So A is to select all. So if we swipe from space to A, it's going to select all right there. And for instance, if we want to cut, I'll swipe from space to X to cut, and then space to V to paste. So this is a great tweak that mimics the keyboard shortcuts on a computer. Now, unfortunately, you can't set the custom keys, but if you know the ones on the computer, it's the same here with this tweak. Next up is conditional Wi-Fi 3, and this allows you to disable Wi-Fi for certain applications. So you guys know by default in iOS, it gives you the option to disable LTE for certain applications, but it doesn't give you the option to disable Wi-Fi for certain applications. But that's what this tweak, conditional Wi-Fi 3, allows you to do. So you can see right here, you can select which ones you don't want using Wi-Fi. So this is useful if you tether a lot, if you use tethering a lot, or if you just don't have an unlimited data plan on your internet service. Next up is TranslucentCydia, and this is another tweak for Cydia that just makes it look a lot better, just enhances the UI a little bit. So you can see on the install screen, maybe a little bit hard to see because of this background, but it basically puts a translucent background in the back of the install screen. So basically it's just gonna take your background image that you have on your home screen and put a little bit of a filter filter on it and put it in the background of the install screen right here, which looks a lot better than just a regular black screen like it is by default inside of Cydia. Next up is a tweak called NoSharePlz, and this gets rid of one of the most annoying features in iOS 11 in my opinion, and that's when you 3D touch on any application, you get the option to share, which doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I understand the point of it, but it's just really annoying. So this disables the share option. It gets rid of the whole share option when you 3D touch. If I 3D touch on Chick-fil-A right there, you can see we don't have the share option right there. It just makes the menu look a lot cleaner, and it's the stuff that you actually care about. So if you 3D touch on Spotify, for instance, you can see that there's no share there and any application. So again, that is NoSharePlz, and it gets rid of a big pet peeve of mine in iOS. And the final tweak is another very simple one called CircleIcons. And this just simply makes your icons inside of settings circular. So you can see over there on the far left side, the icons for all of the applications here and all these toggles right here are circular, which looks a lot cleaner in my opinion. And if you go into the settings right here, you can also change the icon shape to default circle, and you can also remove all icons if you want. So again, just a very simple tweak that just makes your settings look a lot cleaner. But anyways, guys, there you have it. Those are 21 awesome tweaks for your iOS 11 device. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you found yourself installing any of these. Again, all the tweaks will be listed down below along with the sources, my background, my theme, all that good stuff. Leave a comment down below with your favorite tweak from this video, and make sure you are subscribed with notifications turned on so you do not miss episode 2 of the series. This series is going to be ongoing and it's going to be awesome. I know you guys will definitely enjoy it. But anyways, guys, that's all for today. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.